Hello everyone, I'm Chloe.
I'm Ian.
And welcome back to
Out of Touch with Reality. We were a little bit off on that one.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I feel like this is iCarly or something, like you're Sam, or I'm Sam, you're Carly, and we're like all like just going really quick.
Oh, for a second I got offended because I thought you said I was Sam.
No,
and
no,
you were
I'm
Carly.
100%.
I used to
You're
have
like
that remote.
you're like Freddie and Carly actually, because you kind of like are facilitating
totally.
everything, and I just come and say some stupid stuff.
And that's all Sam wanted to do was whenever they did the webcast, she was like, "I'll just show up."
That's kind of what I do.
All right, so we.
I provide the space too, so
yes,
it makes
true.
me feel like I have a little bit of something.
We have a very scary episode planned today. Really random. I don't know why we decided to talk about these topics today, but
that's what our podcast is.
True. Okay, so we actually just had our 7-month anniversary. Is that what you're calling it?
Thank you for calling it a month anniversary and not an anniversary. Anniversary means year.
So I thought we would start off very nice and lovey and say our favorite things about each other.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to.
Do you want me to go first?
Let's see if there's anything you could like about me. Go ahead.
My favorite thing about you is that you are such a gentleman. Like you hold the door, you always hold every door open for me. Like even whenever you have too much stuff in your hands, instead of like having me open the door, you just give me the stuff that was in your hands so that way you could open the door. And even the car doors, you open the car door for me, and I feel like no one's ever done that for me, so that's my favorite thing about you.
I don't know why, but right now when you said that, it reminds me of the one tweet I saw where someone said, "Do men still open doors?" And then this dude responds, "How else are we supposed to get inside?"
Oh yes, I saw that. That was so funny.
Now I guess I would say my favorite thing about you, as we hear Clover wagging her collar in there.
I know.
I guess I'd say my favorite thing about you has to be the fact that you are just honestly pretty funny, and you always are entertaining. You there's never a dull moment with you, and you're always making me laugh or amusing me in some way.
Aww.
Even if we're laughing at you and not with you.
No one ever laughs at me. What are you talking about?
Even stories about you from when you were a kid are funny. Like the stories that your mom tells me, they're hilarious.
It's so embarrassing.
Like the one where where your cousin asked you to get her like a gelato or something, and then she said, "Surprise me," and you came back and said, "All right, we have bad news. They didn't have surprise me."
Well, because she was talking about, I was like, "What flavor do you want?" And she goes, "Surprise me." And I was young, so I thought that maybe that was just like a new flavor that they had or something. 'Cause I don't know. And they never sent me back to order food again, so maybe I actually did that on purpose.
Subconsciously?
I was just smart, and I was like, I hate ordering food for people. No, but also, I was thinking about this, and you are actually a lot like my parents. Like my dad, you have the whole sports thing. You guys can talk about sports all day long, and you both have that knowledge, like this insane knowledge of what happened in like 1984. And my mom, you and her share a very common thing. Do you know what that is?
What is that?
It's that you're both afraid of Ferris wheels.
Oh God.
Oh.
I didn't realize
it's hilarious.
I didn't realize I had that phobia until we decided to go to the
carnival.
Yeah. Dude,
well, it's so funny because I was telling you before we went. I was telling you about. I was like, "Oh my God, it's so funny." My mom was freaking out whenever we took her on the Ferris wheel, and you were like, "Oh, like what's the big deal? It's just a Ferris wheel." Like, and so I asked you, "Do you want to come on it with me?" And you were like, "Yeah, sure. It's a Ferris wheel. It's like the easiest ride at the carnival. Like they even have Ferris wheels for babies."
I don't even like thinking about it.
And so we get on, and whenever you get on a Ferris wheel, they load you in your cart, and you move back one. They load other people, you move back again, and you keep moving until everyone's loaded in this freaking Ferris wheel. For some reason, whenever we got, like, I feel like you've never been on a Ferris wheel before.
No, I have. It's just like...
Because whenever we got to the top, you were like, okay, so once we get to the bottom, are we done?
Like, I'm getting worked up just thinking about it.
I was like, no, like, once we get to the bottom, the ride's fully going to start because everyone will be loaded on. Like, we were, like, still loading people on, and you were like, once we get to the bottom, are we done? I was like, we just got loaded on.
It was horrible.
You were squeezing my hand so hard. And, like, I was trying to, like, look back at Brooklyn, and you were like, wait, don't look back, don't look back. You were sweating. It was insane.
Just thinking about it's getting me all, like...
worked up.
It's getting the blood flowing.
That's crazy, though, because you've been on Ferris wheels before,
I think it was
right?
coupled with your... I have, but, like, I don't know. Everything's got... I'm not going to tap the table this time. Everything's gotten worse for me with, like, being anxious about stuff the older I've gotten. Like, when I was young, I could go on any ride. Like, I was able to do it. Like, it just... Things didn't freak me out as much. Like, I didn't think I... Like, when I was a really little kid, when I was, like, up to, like, 4 or 5, I had, like, bad anxiety. And then through most of my, like... younger years, all the way to like when I was 16, I didn't really have any anxiety about anything.
That's so interesting because like normally this is the age where people are like, I don't care, like, I'm, like, where they have that mindset where it's like, I'm gonna live forever and they can do whatever they want and blah, blah, blah. So it's interesting that when you were a kid, because I feel like when you're a kid, you're kind of afraid of everything.
Well, see, there are certain fears that I did have as a kid that are gone, like, for example, the smoking commercials where the lady would have the hole in her throat.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Like, those were terrifying to me as a kid. I couldn't, like...
Now I watch them and I laugh.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. So, like, yeah, and I laugh and I'm like, haha, that's going to be all my friends that vape in, like, 60 years. No, but, yeah, no, it just... For whatever reason, certain things, like throwing up, that's the other, like, the huge...
You have not gotten over that one.
That's the one that I still have. That's what I mean. It's gotten more
gotcha.
intense the older I've gotten.
See, here's the thing. I don't like throwing up, but I feel like I don't have a phobia of it. Because, like... And obviously, like, the difference is, like, when you have a kid, Ava, when she would throw up as a baby, or even, I don't think she's thrown up in a while, but when she would throw up as a baby, it really didn't disgust me. And I think other people's might not disgust me. Well,
here's the weird thing. There was one time I thought you might have, like, I thought that you, like, weren't feeling well or something, and I thought you were going to. And for whatever reason, not scared whatsoever, ready to hold your... Like, I was ready to take care of you. Maybe it's because I love you.
But here's the thing. I don't like throwing up because it's gross and messy and whatever. So I just don't do it. I just choose not to do it. But, like, I don't think I have a phobia of it.
I
like,
definitely do.
I was trying to think of, like, some phobias that I have, and, like, I really could not think of anything that I'm, like, deathly afraid of.
I guess I'm afraid of heights, too.
It's, like, what's really the difference between a fear and a phobia? Like... Because I'm afraid of a lot of things, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel like I have any phobias.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know what the difference is between the two. I think a phobia is just, like, super intense.
Because, like, sorry for everyone, but, like, back to the throwing up thing, like, I was always so disgusted at school when, like, as a kid, when kids would just randomly throw up in class. Like, first of all, why? Second of all, now the whole class smells. So, like,
no, it's like a lot of the like, seriously, sometimes thinking about, like, my childhood, that's like where it's rooted, I think, is from, like, and I think
from
that's
kids
yeah.
doing that.
We'll put a trigger warning before the episode probably, but, like,
yeah,
that was where it started. And, like, it got even worse because, like, I think in high school, like, there was a kid at my school that, like, had it in another class, and I'm like, dude, this is still going on. Like, I was angry. I had, like, this intense,
I don't think anyone in my
feelings.
high school ever did anything. My high school was always elementary.
I mean, obviously, like, there were some hungover kids in high school that would actually, like, in the trash can, but, like, nothing, like, no, in elementary school, that's where it all started. Like, that's definitely where the fear traces back to. Even for me in preschool, there was some girl that was, like, allergic to everything, so she was constantly...
Oh, that sucks, though, man.
She was allergic to, like, sand. Like, she couldn't even go play in the sand, this poor kid. Yeah.
Though.
Man, I'm glad we're done with that topic.
I know, I felt so bad.
Did you really?
I really did feel bad seeing you, like, get worked up.
Yeah, I don't know, like,
I mean, I guess that really does signify, like, the difference between, like, a fear and a phobia.
Yeah,
because,
so
like,
that's your perfect example right there, I guess, how that works.
I really did feel bad that we were talking about that. But we're done from it now.
Yeah.
On to a different topic. God. I'm sorry.
Staying in the whole scary realm and everything.
Oh, of course. What about ghosts? Are you afraid of ghosts? Oh, first of all, do you believe in ghosts?
No, I do. Okay, so I do, like, I think of them a lot of times as, like, they can be good spirits that, like, come into your life and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I would say, like, the reason I do is actually because, my grandmother on my dad's side, so his mother,
yeah,
I never met her in person. She passed away, like, 7 years before I was born and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was just, it was crazy because, like, we had pictures of her, we had, like, castanets and, like, stuff because she was a dancer. Yeah. So, like, we had all these artifacts of her, and I knew of her existence, but I never met her in person.
Okay.
Crazy enough, when I was a kid, my parents told me, they've come to tell me now, but when I was 2 years old, apparently, like, I came out, like, saying, hey, my grandma Vi, like, we were in my room, and she was speaking to me and talking to me and everything, and they were like, what are you talking about? Like, she was there, she was speaking to you. I'm like, yeah, no, like, she was there, and, like, and they're like, how old was she? I'm like, oh, well, she was, like, in her 30s, like, that one picture you have. Like, it was crazy. Like, so the only time I ever met her was then when I was a little kid.
So was it, like, you were asleep and you woke up and you said this, or were you just, like, on your own and then you
No, I was on my own, I guess, and I just came out from, like, my room and told them that, and it was just such a crazy thing.
And they didn't tell you this until you were older, or?
Yeah, no, they I mean, like, it's a story that they would tell often and stuff and tell to people, so I ended up hearing it, but it was crazy. So I guess during, I don't remember what she was talking about. The only other time I, had an experience like that is when I was, like, a senior graduating high school. I had a dream that she came to me and, like from the pictures I'd seen, it was like speaking to me and like asking me like about, you know, all these changes and stuff. And so I do tend to believe that sometimes we can have spirits that are from, you know, up above and stuff that come and speak with us and all that stuff. And it's just kind of crazy. So I would say with experience with ghosts, yes, that would kind of be what I have.
Well, it's crazy because my great grandma from, I guess, well, my mom's grandma.
Gigi's?
Yeah.
You were about to say that.
That's why Ava calls my grandparents the Gigi's, because I called my great grandparents the Gigi's. But anyways, so she has this ghost story that she would always tell of like what happened to her. Like she was, because my great grandpa, he worked like super super late, like graveyard shifts, and she said that one night she was laying in bed and he had came home from work, and he went and he laid down with her, like, in the bed. Yeah. Because she was, like, sleeping. It was super late. And she was like, gosh, you're so cold. Like, why are you so cold? And she heard their cat. And she was like, oh, my God, you let the cat in. Like, go let the cat out and then come back. So he left to go let the cat out. And then, like, hours pass by. And she wakes up again. And she sees my great grandpa's car lights, like, shining on the window. And he walks in and she's like, where did you go? Like, I just told you to let the cat out. Like, why'd you drive away? And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, I just got home. And so she would always tell us that story. And it was insane. Like, ghost stories are honestly one of my favorite subjects to talk about. If you're not watching this, Ian just pulled out a prop. Skull.
We have a prop.
That's a Halloween decoration that he just has never gotten rid of.
Dude, Halloween's cool. This is like a Halloween episode.
You know basically. What? I really do. Halloween is my favorite holiday. I love Halloween.
Halloween is the time with ghosts and everything scary. Yeah. And
do you have
spooky.
any other ghost stories?
I'm seriously digging. I would go ahead and start telling me yours. I'll think that story about the. Oh my God,
it's insane.
That's just crazy. Okay, yeah no. That's insane. Mine, because mine when I was a little kid very well could have been a dream.
Yeah.
But I do believe.
But she was like an adult.
That's what I was going to say. There's something to be said. I do believe kids see ghosts a lot because kids are more open-minded
well, you know what?
to things.
See, that's why the stories that I have, they're from when I was a kid. And it was me and my brother, and we were in like an apartment that we lived in with my mom. And me and my brother would always see, like, these shadow figures walking around the house. And we just wouldn't say anything about it. Like, they never did anything to us. So we just wouldn't say anything about it. Like, we would talk to each other about it. But, like, we would never tell my mom. And it's so funny because Michaela from the show, she had posted something. And she was like, when I was young, I used to see, like, these shadow people walking around my house. And I was like, bro. Well, I was like, same.
Well, actually, there is another ghost story now that you mention it.
Oh, God. I love it. I love ghost stories.
Yeah, we lived in if you're from Southern California and you know the town Whittier, it's a very older kind of LA County city. We lived in this one house. It was a house I grew up in my whole life, and we definitely did I'll just put it this way: we did a lot of remodeling to it to kind of get it to where like it was when we moved out. It was nice when we moved and everything. But when we first got there, it was like it had been owned by like this one family for like 50 years, and I don't know, man. Like, it was trippy. Like, there was one time I was, like, 2 years old. These are all stories from when I was 2 years old. And, well, we'll talk about that after, like, kind of theorize.
You're a very creative 2-year-old. I wonder if Ava sees ghosts and just doesn't tell me.
Well, I thought there was the one time that, like, you guys were laying down. And, like, she said that there was a person there or something like that.
So dramatic. And she was probably dreaming.
Oh, you have a couple screws loose then. But, what was I going to say? Oh.
Your house. Remodeling.
Yeah, my house. So, yeah, we when I was, like, a little kid, this house just had like weird things going on. Like there was like weird sounds and like it was just odd. And then there was one night it all came to like a point when my mom is like sitting there holding me like in the office, just like sitting there like I'm laying down, and then I like start freaking out and I point up to the ceiling and I'm like, I don't like that, man, make him go away.
Oh my God, I would cry.
And my mom freaked out, and like I guess we had this friend, his name was Tommy, and he would my dad knew him from like music and stuff, like they were music fans and stuff, and he was super spiritual guy, so he used to pick like sage and stuff. I'm sure you know what that is. It's like smells super good. It's like a herb, and apparently it's like a homeopathic way of like cleansing anything, your body, an area, a space. We were running up and down the halls
saging
with
the
the
hallways.
sage and stuff. And it was weird, and my dad used to, like...
So all these stories of you as a kid, did they just not tell you until you were older? Or
Yeah, no, like, I don't have any recollection of any of them.
That's crazy.
I don't have recollection, sadly, of the time that my grandma visited me in that setting, but
yeah,
I would hear these stories later on, and it's just such an interesting thing, like why kids are the ones that are always seeing it.
That's what I was thinking, because I was older. Like, I was a little bit older, like maybe like 6 or 7, so I kind of vaguely remember these, and also because me and my brother would tell my mom about these stories.
Yeah.
As we got older, like there was one time where me and my brother had bunk beds, and he obviously got the top because he's older and makes the rules. So he said that it was the middle of the night and he was climbing down the bed to get some water or something, and he saw me on the way down and was just like, oh, like that's Chloe's just sleeping. And so he passed, like quietly left the room, and then whenever he passed my mom's room, he saw me laying in my mom's room. And he asked her, he was like, what? He was like, what is Chloe doing in here? And my mom was like, she doesn't feel good. Like, she has a headache, so she's laying with me. And he was like, okay. And he just he climbed back up the bunk bed and just went to sleep.
God. He just didn't even, like,
yeah,
question
it didn't even
crazy.
faze him. Yeah, but there's so many stories like that. Like, me and my brother, it was always me and my brother. And I don't know, that's why sometimes I'm like, maybe he was just playing pranks on me. But also, like, the shadow people one, there's no way he could do that. But, like, there was one time where my mom is convinced that he was just playing a prank on me, because we had rooms, when we moved on from the bunk beds, we had 2 separate rooms, but they were, like, had the wall in between, and like our beds were both against the wall, so like you could knock on the wall and like I would hear him. And so it was one time in the middle of the night, he knocked on the wall and he was like, do you see that, like, by your door? And I just looked, and there was like this white floating like figure thing, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, me too. And then we just went back to sleep.
You guys are weird, man. Like, how do you just like hear that and then just accept it? Like,
I don't know. I really don't know. But, like, we were just like, yeah, you see that ghost? Yeah, me too. Okay, cool. Just going back to sleep now.
Like, what? That's like, okay, that's like the equivalent of those TikToks where they're like, oh, yeah, like, I don't like when you breathe around other women. Okay, I'll stop breathing.
You know what? You know what I think it is? It's because we were all so, like, my whole family loves Halloween. We were always so obsessed with scary movies. And, like, as kids, like, they would show us scary movies at a very young age. So I feel like maybe that's why we weren't scared.
Yeah. Well, I get it. I mean, it's like, let's be honest, you're a more open-minded person than I am. I'd say that I'm a pretty, like, in a lot of ways, I'm just closed off to a lot of things. I don't like certain things make me anxious, make me feel uncomfortable, and I don't want any part of it. You, on the other hand, with ghosts and scary stuff, like, you like that, and I don't.
I know. I'd be so down to get, like, a Ouija board.
No, dude. You're like, dude, you're playing with, like, no. That's like playing with your life right there. Don't do that. Don't get a Ouija board. That's a horrible idea, and if you do...
Not if you always say goodbye. If you watch any scary movie ever, the reason they get possessed is because they don't say goodbye. But you don't know scary movies.
No.
Oh, like, this man does not know scary movies at all. And it kills me because... I love movies, and I love scary movies. Those are my favorite, but you just don't know any. So, like, even my family, like, when we'll make a quote from, like, a scary movie, you're like, I don't know what that's from. Like, we'll all start laughing, you're like, I don't know that one.
The Nightmare Before Elm Street.
The Nightmare Before Elm Street is what he thought it was called. And I forgot.
Well, she asked me.
Who's the killer in Nightmare Before Elm Street?
Is it the
very
Texas
popular
Chainsaw Massacre?
Very popular horror movie. Nightmare. First of all, it's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, the Nightmare on Elm Street is Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger? That's right.
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger. It's Freddy Krueger.
Oh.
Yes. So
the Nightmare Before Elm Street. Is it? Do they have like this Nightmare Before like?
It's Nightmare on Elm Street.
So
you keep saying before.
So this. I think I'm mixing it with the Nightmare Before Christmas. Is what it is.
You are too.
I think that's what I keep doing.
That's probably the scariest movie you ever watched as a kid was Nightmare Before Christmas.
Bro, like the scariest movie I've ever seen is the Tim Burton edition of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
What about Coraline? You ever saw Coraline?
Yeah, I like that movie.
I like that movie too. Okay.
She has weird eyes.
Anyways, what about very, very popular horror movie, obviously. It's called Halloween. Who's the killer in Halloween?
Cat in the Hat guy, Mike Myers.
Yeah, him. Mike Myers.
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers?
Yeah, Mike Myers, Cat in the Hat, Austin Powers are all the same guy.
Who is he in Austin Powers?
The main character?
For real?
Yes, the Cat in the Hat's the same dude.
There's no way.
Yes, it is the same guy.
Interesting.
You did not know that?
Well, when I picture the guy who plays the Cat in the Hat...
Well, yeah, because he's got a Whoville cat face on. Obviously, he's gonna look different.
Whenever I even go on that IMDb and it shows him, he does not look like Austin Powers.
He does not. I agree with you, but that's because he's got the red puffy afro.
And I feel like Austin Powers was very skinny and slim, and the Cat in the Hat was chubbier.
People get fat, Chloe.
Weird.
Evidence
Interesting. Interesting. No, I really didn't know that. I thought he was probably a side. I really didn't know that. That's interesting to me. Anyways, back to Halloween. So we got Halloween. Mike Myers is the killer. Interesting.
He wears a jumpsuit, right?
Yes.
And he's got an ugly face. Because I remember kids.
Ugly face. Well, it's a mask.
Okay, yeah.
You're probably thinking of the Texas. Well, Freddy Krueger also has a burned face, but also the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He has. He's called Leatherface as the killer in that movie, and he got.
I'll tell you a scary movie I liked.
Michael Myers' mask is pretty smooth.
I liked Get Out. I don't know. That's more of a psychological thriller.
See, yeah, I feel like you're definitely a thriller person.
I am.
Something that messes with your mind instead of boo.
Oh yeah, no. That's the thing. Psychological. To me, I'm a man of high class. So cheap thrills, cheap dates. I'm not for that at all. I don't like it. So I feel jump scares and startling someone is a cheap way to scare them. It's so fun. It's the laziest.
It's the adrenaline.
It's the laziest. Just most disgusting way to scare somebody. There's no effort. It's zero IQ. 2, I also just hate being startled. I hate it. It's bad. It's
so funny though.
No, it's bad. And then you guys think it's funny.
It is funny, but we all
you guys be.
That's how we grew up. We just all scare each other. I can't tell you the amount of videos we have of my aunt getting scared by my cousins because she's one who gets scared very easily. My mom and my dad try and scare them, it won't work. My grandma also gets scared very easily.
You should see me now, though. I've learned my lesson of when I come out
Every
of the bathroom.
time he comes over and he has to go to the bathroom, whenever he's coming out, he always takes a look around the corner. And
I
walk
against the walls like that.
Oh, God,
I look like I was T-posing. That was cringe. I'm not a band kid, so...
But you're not really a movie person. You're more of a TV show person.
Yes, 100%. No, I definitely... Definitely have always preferred watching TV shows. I just feel like it's easier to get into that, though.
But it's so... I was talking to my mom about this the other day. Because we started a new show. I forgot what it's called. But we started a new show, and I hate it because it's only season 1. And it's such a cliffhanger. And I'm like, this is why I like movies, because... You don't get those cliffhangers, and then you don't have to wait. You get the beginning, middle, and the end.
I am with you on that. That's why... Coincidentally, all the shows I watch happen to be Breaking Bad after the show ended. Older, Sopranos way after it ended. Or How I Met Your Mother. The show was already over by the time I watched it. Sure. So I love finding shows where it's 4 or 5 seasons deep. I am waiting on Ozark. That's what I love about what Netflix has done, though. Netflix drops a season. Here's a season for you, not an episode a week. It's just, and then
Disney Plus does that episode a week for their new series that they have.
I would, if I was running a TV show, I'd love to do that because it builds hype, but it also people lose interest.
Yeah, no, I get you, but also
we tried watching The Walking Dead. It's just because
you know what, nowadays I say people, but me as well. We're impatient because now we have all these streaming services, well, except for Hulu, where you don't have commercials. Netflix,
you can pay millions of dollars to not have commercials on Hulu.
True. Netflix has no commercials. Disney Plus has no commercials, and the episodes come out like you said, they drop a whole season or whatever, and so you're used to just finishing an episode and just going right on to the next one. And it used to not be that way, but now we have become very impatient. And even Ava, when she's on my phone and watching YouTube videos, if she gets an ad, she cannot wait for the skip ad button to pop up, where you have to wait 5 seconds. She's hurry up, let's go.
Yeah.
So that's just the age we're growing up in now. And
yeah.
But I remember it was so fun waiting for a new episode of Hannah Montana or something. I'd be like, oh my God, I can't wait for next Sunday when it comes out. I'm so excited for 7, 8 Central.
Yeah, 7, 8 Central. Dude, I grew up not knowing
or
what
8, 7 Central.
8, 7 Central. Yeah, no, we all grew up. And
not knowing what that means.
Sometimes I think we're all living the same life because I've heard that complaint, what did 8, 7 Central mean? And I had no idea what that meant, and I just totally went along with it.
And all I did was just go on Guide and be like, okay, what time does it come on?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And of course, living out here, it would always come on at 5.
Yeah. Well, you know
what? There's a really East Coast bias. I just like to put that out there. This country has a horrible East Coast bias, and it's not okay because the West Coast is just so much better.
I don't know, man. New York's dope. Florida's dope.
Florida?
Florida.
Florida's got its own
problems. We don't gotta talk about Florida.
Dope in the way that you just like hear a story every day about Florida man.
Yes.
That's Florida.
The news. It's just Florida man does this. Like.
I think I used to listen to this radio show. Or my mom used to listen to this radio show, and this dude like every Friday would be like, "All right, so Florida man or not Florida man?" Like they had like a whole segment on it. It's like it is.
Of like that's so cool.
It's its own place.
I love that.
It's its own peninsula.
Interesting. Ian uses big words. Ian's a very smart guy. He likes to impress people with his big words.
That's what I'm doing. I treat it like an interview. I gotta impress.
The one thing that cracks me up is whenever we did the Got It challenge. Basically, if you don't know what that is, it's where you say 3, 2, 1, and
you want to show them?
Oh God.
Let's do it.
Okay, something random.
Okay.
3, 2. Wait, I don't have anything. Nothing came to my mind when I said something random. Nothing came to my mind.
Just look around the room.
No, that's cheating.
Just do it. Look around the room and find something.
1, 2, 3. Skull.
Shoes.
Skull and shoes.
Yes.
Got it. 3, 2, 1. Design.
Brain.
What did you say?
Brain.
How'd you get? Where does shoes come in between?
Because if a shoe hits the skull, you're gonna have brain damage. This is the thing. I make these weird connections.
Okay, brain and design.
Brain and design. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
College.
X-ray. X-ray in college. 1, 2, 3. Degree.
Doctor.
Degree and doctor. Got it. 1, 2, 3. Doctorate.
I was gonna say doctorate too.
Okay. Anyways, we're not gonna get this, but that's the challenge. And where was I even going with this? Where did? Oh my God!
This is what this podcast is gonna be. This is what it's gonna become. We're just gonna talk.
You distracted me. But the thing was about how smart, like, is whenever one of the words was so very clearly nature, you decided to say ecosystem. It was very clearly, you could have just said nature. It was very clearly just nature, and you decided to say ecosystem.
100%
thinking I would also say that?
No. Just because I wanted to say
So you were trying to lose the game.
I was trying to rig the game for myself.
Oh my goodness. But yeah.
It's a game where we all win.
No.
You lose.
Wrong.
Who wins?
If we get it really fast, then we win because we're telepathically communicating.
I think me and Hayden are telepathically communicating.
I agree.
It's getting weird. Like, there's been too many incidences for we walk out at the same time, we got the exact same exam on a score.
Hayden is his roommate, by the way.
It's getting a little weird. Like we both get an 88, and there was nothing. Like, that was completely legitimate.
No, it was really funny because...
He was doing his exam, I did mine, like...
Well, I was over, and they are in the same class, so they had to do an exam. Ian was in his room, and Hayden was in his room.
During class,
and I was just in the living room. Hayden walks out and goes, I got an 88. And he goes back into his room.
5 minutes later.
5 minutes later, Ian walks out and goes, I got an 88. And I was like, oh my God.
Totally legitimate, too. Like,
yeah, it was insane.
No funny business. Very
and you guys ever since then have just been
student.
Saying the same thing.
Yeah. No, it is. It's weird.
It's really funny, though.
It's weird. Like, yeah, no, we've been, like, saying the exact same thing at the same time.
Back to growing up, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Were you a Disney kid or a Nick kid?
Nickelodeon, 100%.
Really?
And that's why I grow up and would choose Seinfeld over Friends.
Interesting. I was very much Disney. Disney has so much better shows.
I honestly, like, I watched Mickey Mouse Clubhouse when I was really little.
But you never got into, like, the Hannah Montana... Well, why did you get into Hannah Montana?
No, I did, okay.
Sweet Life of
I
Zach
did sort of like
Cody?
Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I watched it a little bit, but I don't know, man. Nickelodeon just, like, coming home after, like, a grueling day of being a 5th grader and turning on Drake and Josh on Teen Nick, like, there was nothing better. Waiting every week for iCarly. Dude.
But those are different
Zoe
eras.
101. It was all the era when I was growing up. Okay, but
no, Drake and Josh and iCarly were years apart because Megan...
It was just straight, like, one into the other, though.
I guess, but, like, I'm talking about, like, I would be able to get Hannah Montana, like, That's a Raven, Woods of Waverly Place, Sweet Life, Zach and Cody. Like, that's why they had all those crossover episodes because they were all airing at the same time.
But I loved cartoons more as a kid.
That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana. That's So Raven, Sweet Life, Zach and Cody, and Hannah Montana. No one else could get that. Except for me, because they all come at the same time.
Jimmy Neutron and Timmy Turner. They merged.
That's the only crossover you have, though.
That's the only crossover you need.
Because we got That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana, and then we got, like, Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana or something like that.
Yeah.
And we got all those crossovers because all those shows. That's why Disney Channel was prime time back in our days.
No, man. Nickelodeon was it. Cartoon Network was, we'll admit Cartoon Network was, like, last. That's definitely...
Not my shows.
Yeah,
no.
we'll throw that. No, dude, Nickelodeon, are you kidding?
We
dressed up as Timmy Turner and Trixie Tang this year. Are you kidding me?
But I would pick any Disney show over Fairly Odd Parents.
Any Disney show
that I watched as a kid. You can't just pick a random show now. Exactly, because
did you watch up into the
shows
Jake Paul
now?
era?
You know what? Here's the thing. No, but first of all, shows now are just not as good as they were, like Disney Channel shows, as they were when we were kids. I say that, but also, it might just be that we are older, and like maybe if I was younger, like Brooklyn, I would still be into those shows. But like now that I'm older, I'm like, that's such a horrible show.
It just seems so. Yeah, it seems so cheap. Like it seemed like back in the day there was so much effort, and I hate saying that because it makes me sound like a boomer about it. And I mean no disrespect. It's all, but no, it makes me feel like one of those kind of like closed-minded people that like you always hated seeing like that comment online. No, I'm not
closed-minded though, because I really tried. Like I would watch shows with Brooklyn, and I was like, I just don't like. But
this. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, agree. There was just better stuff on.
See,
when we were
and
kids
here's the thing
up.
though, is because like I could not wait for a new episode of like the show I was watching to drop, and like even now, like I'll Snapchat you and I'll be watching Hannah Montana, like even now, and kids nowadays, like when a show ends, they're just like, it's over, like I don't really care, or like they're not excited for a new. It's because they're all on TikTok actually,
and it's a shame. No, it's really sad. It's like I feel like to a certain degree like kids are getting robbed of like that experience that like was kind of awesome as a kid. Like that was cool to look forward to.
See, here's the thing that I hate though is people like older people like my parents.
Oh my god. Maybe
my grandparents did, but they'll like tell us like, oh my god, you guys didn't have a childhood. But I feel like we grew up in the perfect time.
We kind of had the last primetime spot.
Yeah, because we were still be able to go out and play with our friends and be outside or whatever, but then we got phones at like a perfect time for like I got my phone, like it was a perfect time where I needed it. Yeah, I think same.
I had like an iPod Touch,
like but we still got the chance to experience going outside and playing with each other and having fun.
It was the best. We had I had a little group of friends that lived all in the same neighborhood, and we'd all go jump in my trampoline.
I think
me and my friend Mitchell boxed in the trampoline once, and his sister started crying, and my dad was like, what are you guys doing?
Me and my brother and my cousins, we all lived right across the street from each other. Yeah. So kind of like how it is now. Nothing's changed. But we lived right across the street from each other, so we'd like make movies like on our little iPod. So fun. Little iPod
I always wish I would have done that.
And so we would just make movies, and they were probably horrible, but that's all we would do. And you know what kind of movies we'd make? Scary movies.
I would have tried recreating.
I'm telling you, that's just how we grew up. I'm pretty sure we made Michael Myers is the guy, by the way, not Mike Myers. But we would make Michael Myers movies because we had like Michael Myers mask, and we would make scary movies where like Alyssa or someone whoever's Michael Myers would like kill us.
You need
to
find these. You need to find these.
Oh, I cannot. Like, cause they weren't even on. They were before iPods. Like it was like on a small like purple. I think it was like not an MP3 player because that's just music. But like I had all my songs on there, but I could still take pictures and videos. I have no idea what it is though. I wish I could find them, but there's no way I could.
I have no idea what that could be because
I got it for Christmas though, and it was not an iPod Touch though. I remember it was not.
You know though, I miss like the opportunity where like I got an iPod Touch in 6th grade, I think, like, and that was so hype.
It was a big deal.
Like I was so, and now it's like it's expected that you're gonna have a phone in your hand. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I remember I was so excited to get my little track phone. Yeah, where you have to put you have to buy minutes. Oh yeah, or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, or like you have to buy how many texts. It's insane.
I can't tell you how hyped I was when I came home, because my mom gave me like her old BlackBerry because she like lost it and then ended up finding it again, and I'd play Brick Breaker on that thing all the time because it's like the best game ever. But yeah, like I got the slide out phone. Remember the slide out where you'd like type and stuff on it, like a little keyboard? Yeah. So hyped when I had that.
You know what? I saw something interesting on TikTok, and it was like if you had the chance to either go back and restart your life at the age of 10, knowing everything you know now, or have the opportunity to get, like, I think it was like 30 million in your bank account right now. Which one did you choose?
Well, I mean, I'd choose the 30 million.
Same.
I mean, like...
Is there any age that could make you be like, no, I'm going back and starting from that age?
No, because there's nothing goldmine that I've done that would be like...
Oh, I guess so.
Actually, no. Wait, you know what? I take that back. I would go back. What age?
10.
Would have created Uber. Would have been the guy that... I would have gone back in time and been the person responsible for Uber. Would have made me way more than $30 million.
Would you have the... technology to do it? You can't just be like, I have an idea, let's create
No, I would have grinded. I would have stalked, pestered,
coded.
No, not coded. I would have stalked and pestered people until I find like the people, not stalked like in that way. Like I would have found a way to go to the headquarters to like just get in somebody's ear.
I think the idea was just that you go back and you change your life and like.
I'm totally going.
Yeah,
off
like
it's funny. The other night I had like a dream.
But here's the thing, if I could go back, but like not have to go to school, like I would. The only reason I would never choose to go back at any age is because I don't want to have to go through elementary again and high school again. Like that sucked.
It did, but like at the same time, now that I look back, like some of the best memories I had were like when I was a little kid in like elementary school, and I was like with my friends and stuff.
I feel like nowadays I'm constantly like, I can't wait to be 21 and graduated from college.
You're tapping the table.
Oh, I'm sorry. But
No,
I was
I'm
doing
kidding
that.
with you.
But anyways, like now I'm like, I can't wait to be 21 and graduate. So I don't think there's ever anything that can make me want to go back in time.
I mean,
And
the kind of work we were doing when we were in elementary school was not quite the same thing that we're doing now, too.
True.
There's that. No, I can't wait. I've always wanted to be an adult. I feel like I just feel more in control and stuff when I am. So I think that's part of what it is, but I don't know, man. Like, I definitely would.
I'm just really glad we grew up at the age, or in the era that we did, like the years that we did. I feel like we had the last good, like, fun childhood.
No, we did.
And
I feel like after COVID's, like, still stuff's not going to be the same for in a lot of ways. Like, things are going to be permanently different for a lot of kids. So it's a shame. Mm-hmm. It's a shame, but I will leave you with this thought. We all went outside to play with our friends for the last time, and nobody
we didn't
knew.
know it.
And nobody knew.
Mm-hmm. It's so weird hearing those things. Like, I wonder when that time was.
Yeah, no, I always wonder what day it was. Because I know it happened.
That's a great thought to leave them with.
Yes, that's a good way to end this podcast.
I love it. All right. Anything else you want to say? I mean, I guess you kind of left your final thoughts.
I just left it off there. We'll keep it at that. Mysterious.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2 of, say it with me, Out of Touch with Reality. And we will see you next Tuesday.